Today, on Crimes Among Us, I bring you the unsolved brutal murder of Jessica Chambers. Jessica Chambers has been described as a typical 19-year-old. She worked in a clothing store. She was an ex cheerleader. She had no problem with getting attention from the men. They really seemed to like her. She had been known to maybe sell some drugs in the past, where she had acquired an arrest record, but you couldn't find anyone in her area. You couldn't find anyone in Batesville. You couldn't find anyone in Cortland that could say anything really negative about her that actually had a problem with her. She was well liked by mostly everyone. December the 6th, 2014, Jessica heads to the gas station to put some gas in her car. This will be the last time that her family ever saw her alive. That night, firefighters were called to a fire on Heron Road in Cortland. They thought when they got there this was just a normal fire going on a vehicle. So they get there, they get ready to start putting this fire out, and out comes from the woods the unthinkable. A girl in just her underwear that was burned beyond recognition. Help me, she said to the fire chief. As he could barely understand any of the words coming from her mouth, they asked her, "Who did this to you? Who did this to you?" They thought that she mumbled, "Eric." They thought it was Eric. Then one of them also said they thought it was Derek. So she gets in the ambulance. Somebody in the ambulance, they ask her, "Did Eric do this to you?" She nods her head no. Now, this all becomes disputed facts. Nobody really knows what happened here. No one can understand how somebody who had gasoline poured down their throat, poured down their nose, scorched, you couldn't even tell who this person is, could make any type of distinguishing word where someone could actually understand them. With her airways scorched, lips burned, tongue burned, a doctor would later testify that there was no way she could have accurately made distinguishable words that someone could understand. So the mystery of who Derek or Eric is remains just that, a mystery. The helicopter has arrived. They have taken her to Memphis. Her mother meets her there. The next morning, her mother's Lisa could tell just how bad she was doing, and she told her, she said, "It's okay. If you can no longer fight, it is okay to let go." Minutes later, Jessica died. Once she died, the Jessica Chambers case became an obsession for everyone. Everyone was learning how to be basically internet detectives using their social media. Everyone wanted to solve this case. The investigators searched Panola County for any Derricks or Erics. They searched the surrounding counties. They could not find anyone. There was nobody in her phone that was under the name of Eric except for two people that were on her Facebook, and those two guys were cleared. The police investigated into her then boyfriend, Travis Sanford. However, he had the best alibi of them all. He was in prison. Police also investigated whether he had put a hit out on her. However, they said that he was so genuinely upset about this, they could tell that he had nothing to do with it. Then, there was someone brought to investigators' attention that would seemingly change this case forever. Quentin. Quentin Tellis, a gang member from Cortland, was questioned, and he said that he was not with Jessica on that day. However, cell phone pings and witnesses say otherwise. He would finally admit to being with her on that day. Comes forward the Panola County gangs. They said that they did not have any problem with Jessica. According to court testimony, Tellis had been begging Jessica for sex repeatedly over and over, and she had blown him off. However, she would still ask him for money or expect him to pay for her food. Tellis's inconsistencies would catch him up many times. One of those biggest, as he was telling his alibi, he said that he was with Big Mike. One problem with that, Big Mike was in Nashville at a Tennessee Titans game. Phone records and tickets would show that that was true. Tellis was indicted February of 2016. He would go to trial in 2017. The prosecution brought forth strong evidence. They brought voicemails. They brought incriminating text messages. They even had video surveillance brought in from the gas station that would show that he was at the gas station the same day that she died. And also, when he was told about her death, he had no reaction, and they thought that was very strange because he had been with her part of that day. When they searched Tellis's phone, he had deleted the text messages between him and Jessica. Also had deleted her contact out of his phone. He told them it's because she's dead, so he really had no reason to leave it in his phone. Darla Palmer and Alton Peterson hammered away at the fact that the first responder said that he said Derek or Eric. She ended her closing statements saying that Eric is not on trial today, but he should be. Now, this is a tailspin. When a jury comes back and they stand up to give their verdict, they say not guilty. The other jurors stand up and says, wait, no, that's not my verdict. So they misunderstood that unless it was 100% not guilty, you cannot say not guilty. It had to be 100%. So if they were guilty, they had to be 100% guilty. So this left them at a hung jury. This case was ruled a mistrial. In 2018, the prosecution tried the case again. This time they brought forward an expert witness that talked about Jessica's airways and how there's no way she could have distinguishedly said those words. They also brought forth a witness that said that night she picked up Tellis and he looked very sweaty and nervous. However, they just kept hammering at the fact that the name was Derek or Eric, and therefore the jury was hung again. It was ruled another mistrial. Right now, Tellis is awaiting trial for his alleged connection in the death of a Taiwanese national. The prosecution for Jessica, some experts say, may be waiting on those results to see if they will trial him a third time for Jessica. His trial for the murder of the stabbing death of the girl in Louisiana has been delayed because his lawyer hired an expert to discredit where his cell phone was pinging at the time of the girl's death.